You can see the impact of inflation most clearly these days at the grocery store. But you can also see it at food banks, where people who never dreamed they'd need it are turning for help. Even some with six-figure incomes are struggling to feed their families. Mark Strassman has tonight's Eye on America from Wallingford, Connecticut.
Forget the image you may have of people who are hungry. In America, hunger is now as mobile as this food bag serving a line 60 deep in Connecticut.
Being under financial stress takes a lot of time, a lot of planning, sometimes.
Take Chandra Kelsey, grocery shopping on a tight budget for her family of 5.
It's whatever's on sale.
Food insecurity eats at her, a lifelong trauma.
You remember going to food banks? Mm-hmm. What was it like?
The first time I did it, I cried. To be in a position where you are doing okay and then you lose everything the next day, it's humbling. It's scary.
And yet you'd never suspect need has lived with his family.
Household income is roughly?
$150, 2 people working full-time. Sometimes I work 2 jobs.
How can you make $150,000 and be food insecure?
That's not what you bring home after taxes. You know, we have mortgage, insurance. We've got 1 kid on their way to college, 1 in college. Something as small as, $1,000 expense could throw things off significantly. This one's crazy looking.
On and off for a decade, Kelsey has relied on help from Connecticut Food Share, the state's largest food bank. She and 2 of her children now give back by volunteering here. All this food, and it's still not enough. Nationally, more than 50 million people need help getting food from charities like this one. Here in Connecticut, that's 1 in 8 people.
They're your neighbor, they're your friend, they could be your family.
Jason Jakubowski, Connecticut Food Share CEO, told us demand for their food jumped 23% last year. He expects another double-digit increase this year.
Are you seeing more people with higher incomes who need your help?
100%. Many of them come to us and say, I donated to you for years, and I never in a million years thought I would have to use this service.
What has changed?
A lot of economic unpredictability. They're scared about their cost of living is going to go up to. They're scared about what the price of eggs is going to be.
Chandra Kelsey's scared about her job. She works as a program director at the Yale School of Public Health and worries about continued government funding of universities such as hers.
We are trying to be very cognizant that it could be around the corner.
And in its own way, Connecticut Food Share is feeling food insecure. Government DOGE cuts last month slashed nearly $2 million from its food budget.
How do you replace that?
We don't. That's the problem.
Is there any hope here?
We still live in America. People always step up to the plate. It may not be enough food, but we're going to keep doing whatever we can to try to provide.
Provided to more families who never suspected their new worry is their next meal. For Eye on America, I'm Mark Strassman in Wallingford, Connecticut.
When a natural disaster strikes, it can create a financial storm for homeowners who've lost it all. In tonight's In Depth, CBS's Dave Malkoff reports many are often left temporarily homeless and still obligated to pay their mortgage.
Double pane glass doors, still have water in them from the storm.
You can still see the flood damage 6 months after Hurricane Helene hit Beth and Alex Brightman's home in Hudson on Florida's west coast.
Oh my God, the stuff that was in my china cabinet.
Since then, they've changed the message at their door.
Let's not stay home. It originally said, let's stay home, because that's all we wanted to do was stay here in our retirement home.
Flood insurance only covered damage to the structure, and homeowners insurance doesn't cover contents lost from flooding.
If we had a hole in the roof and rain came in, then our belongings would have been covered through the homeowners.
So they're using savings for repairs while living in a rental, still with a $2,500 monthly mortgage.
We still kind of lived paycheck to paycheck.
About a month after Hurricanes Helene and Milton hit the southeast, nearly 60,000 homeowners fell behind on their mortgages. And there's been a similar trend after the LA wildfires. Right now, 4,100 homeowners there are delinquent on their mortgage payments.
They understand that you have short-term cash flow issues.
Economist Paul Willen says historically, lenders have worked out arrangements with disaster victims.
And the last thing they want is for a borrower to end up defaulting on a mortgage.
One option with your bank is forbearance, which gives you temporary pause on your mortgage payments.
Is basically give you a way of paying for stuff up front and freeing up cash flow.
It's given the Brightmans relief from their house payments for 6 months.
It's been helpful, but then now it's going to turn around and be a big bite.
That bite will be about $15,000, the total amount deferred now coming due. And forbearance can also have long-term consequences for homeowners, affecting credit, ability to refinance, and home equity.
This is the year to rebuild, recover, and then
Go from there.
Just get back to the day before the storm. That's all you want now.
if we could go to September 25th, 2024, that'd be nice.
If they could go back, they would have prepared differently, adding insurance and protecting their belongings before Helene arrived on their doorstep. Dave Malkoff, CBS News, Hudson, Florida.
Millions of Americans are facing a major expense they had previously thought was in the rearview mirror. Today, the federal government is resuming collections on defaulted student loans. Some of the $1.6 trillion in student debt outstanding. For tonight's In Depth, CBS's Lana Zak reports on loan holders already struggling to make ends meet.
Are you worried about drowning? Yes. I mean, we're kind of drowning as it is.
Jana Hartwood, a nurse in Iowa, owes more than $40,000 in student loans. 2 years ago, her son was born with a medical condition. To treat it, she exhausted her savings and had to borrow from her 401k.
I don't think anyone takes out a loan with the intention of not paying it back. It's how easily you can pay it back that's the problem.
During the pandemic, the first Trump administration put student loan payments on pause, a policy Biden extended. But now the federal government is putting an estimated 5 million Americans into collections, taking the money owed by seizing some wages, withholding tax refunds, and even deducting payments from some Social Security checks.
There are extraordinary collection tactics that the government has.
Persis Yu is with the Student Borrower Protection Center.
And the government doesn't have to go through the hoops that other creditors have to go through. They don't have to get a court order to take those benefits. They can just do it with a simple notice to the borrower, which again, many borrowers are never going to receive.
When the government restarted her payments, Hartwood says she was never notified.
I was shocked. Like, I had no idea that my loans were delinquent at that point.
So they never told you that you had any problems?
Nope. I checked every email. I got statements that had a 0 on it.
Many borrowers are spending hours on the phone trying to get basic answers on what they owe. The Trump administration is also eliminating some loan forgiveness plans, including for people employed by nonprofit organizations not aligned with Trump's policy goals.
It is an incredibly chaotic time in the student loan system. In theory, we have programs in place that are supposed to provide affordable payment options for borrowers. Unfortunately, that payment system is in complete disarray at this moment.
We reached out to the Education Department. They say the Biden administration is to blame because their, quote, attempts to transfer student debt to every taxpayer, the student loan portfolio is in a dire financial state. But for Hartwood, it's not political, it's personal.
How much can you afford to pay back right now?
None. It's not easy. Every week is hard. Every paycheck is immediately gone. It's gone before we even, have it.
Her problems shared by millions across the country. Lana Zak, CBS News, Iowa City, Iowa.
Measuring presidents by their first 100 days goes back to Franklin Roosevelt and the New Deal.
President Trump's first 100 days have been largely about the trade deal, and so far there's been more wheeling than dealing, especially with China.
Today, the president downshifted on his auto tariffs to eliminate overlapping taxes on car makers.
They would not be hit by both a 25% tariff on imported vehicles and a 25% tariff on steel and aluminum.
Ed O'Keefe is in Warren, Michigan, where the president is holding a 100-day rally. Ed?
Good evening. The president's back in this battleground state. Key to his victory, And he's touting his work on the economy and with tariffs. But as he marks the first stretch of his second term, people we spoke to here outside Motor City fear the economy could get worse. Touching down in Michigan, President Trump brought with him good news for the state's key industry. Automakers will still face a 25% tariff on imported cars and parts, but not an additional tariff on other critical materials, including steel and aluminum. The news was cheered by the big three American car makers, though customers will likely still pay more for a new car, and it does nothing to cushion the economic pain of auto workers Scott Duty and Tabitha Noble, who were furloughed just before Trump took office.
What does that then cause you to have to worry about in terms of costs on a day-to-day basis?
You know, your food went up, gas went up, our wages went down.
Utility bills have went up. Groceries have went sky high.
Both agreed tariffs could eventually bring more jobs to the U.S. Duty voted for Trump.
I just think it's going to take time for more to happen.
Noble voted for Kamala Harris and is more pessimistic.
Unemployment's went up. Every day, somebody's closing their doors because nobody's going in to buy anything.
But that's not the case at the holiday market just outside Detroit. Store director Eric Schneider says customers aren't yet whining about higher prices, but they may soon pay more for goods like imported wine.
We haven't changed our prices.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if it keeps up...
Yeah, because wine, liquor, you operate on thin margins.
So far, Schneider says business is steady.
The state of the economy here in Michigan is what?
It has been pretty healthy, but, you know, again, it's kind of the wait and see.
Sort of this sense of something could happen, but nothing's happening now.
Yeah, it's impending, looming doom.
In an interview today, the president defended his economic record by claiming the price of eggs, gas, and groceries are coming down. That depends on where you are and what exactly you're buying. He said any pain from tariffs are part of what he calls a transition period, and that ultimately, quote, great days are ahead.
Okay.
Guys?
Ed O'Keefe in Warren, Michigan tonight with the president. Thank you. And so, John, you were there the last time Donald Trump finished his first 100 days. Must be kind of a deja vu situation.
Especially because the topic was exactly the same. America first. It was at a place called the Ames True Temper plant in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And he was there to sign 2 executive orders about trade. But it was like a starter kit compared to what he's doing now with these much more robust tariffs. And Peter Navarro was there. Okay. His trade advisor now was there in 2017. That's a line of continuity, but 2 differences. One, in 2017, he touted the National Association of Manufacturers, who were so optimistic about what he's doing. If you look at their publications now, they're worried about these tariffs. And the other thing is that the Ames True Temper plant, the factory is closed, and Bloomberg reports that it appears their products are now made in China.
Wow. Same conversation, though.
Absolutely.
All right.